Good morning, boys and girls. Today is day 17 of our life cycle of a chicken unit. How long is our chicken unit? 21 days. So how many days do we have left? You can start at 17 and count up to 21, or you can start at 21 and count down to 17. Let's do it both ways. Day 17 goes in your head, and let's count up. 18, 19, 20, 21. 4 days left. Let's put 21 in our head and count down. 21 in your head. 20, 19, 18, 17. 4 days left. I cannot believe it. It's almost here. So we are so excited. This has gone by so quickly, hasn't it? We're going to have a little quick time of review, and what we're going to do is just look at this fast-paced growing of our embryo for the past 16 days, and then today is day 17. We're going to take a look at what is happening on day 17. Yesterday, we learned 2 new vocabulary words. Turner. Turn and tell the person sitting beside you everything that you've learned about how many times an egg has to be turned, what that looks like in a natural environment, like how the mama hen does that, and what that looks like inside an incubator. Take a second and do that. You can always pause the video if you need to. All right, also yesterday we talked about 2 different ways that the chicken keeps herself clean. We talked about a dirt bath and preening. Turn and tell your friend what you learned yesterday about taking a dirt bath and preening. All right, good. Remember we watched those 2 videos yesterday of how the chicken loves to get in a big pile of dirt and kick the dirt up in between every feather, and it kind of acts like an insulator. It puts a layer of oil around her feathers so it keeps her clean. And then she reaches back there, snips and pulls on her feathers, and that's called preening, to keep things like bugs, flies, insects, mites, all types of parasites off of her feathers. That's the way that she keeps herself clean. Today on day 17, we're going to look at 2 new words, wattle and comb. Let's take a look at what is happening inside the egg today. Remember how we said that our embryo is actually facing this way, because this is the fat side of the egg where the air sac is. This is the thin side of the egg. So at this point, our chicken is big enough to be flipped this way with his head facing the air sac ready to get out. It says the beak turns toward the air cell and the embryo prepares to hatch. Now, tomorrow, we are going to take our little sleeves, our little yellow sleeves, out of the incubator. We're going to crank the humidity up a little bit higher. We've had it at 50 to 55%. Tomorrow is day 18, and for day 18, 19, 20, and 21, we will have our eggs laying flat on the bottom of the incubator, and we'll crank the humidity up about another 20% and get ready for them to hatch. Let's take a look at our 2 vocabulary words for today. We have a wattle, which is this thing under their chin. And we have a comb, which is this thing on top of their head. Now, remember there are different types of breeds of chickens, and so their wattles and combs all look a little bit different. But let's read the definition of a wattle together. The definition of a wattle is a flap under the chicken's chin. All right, and then the definition of a comb is the pointed thing at the top of the chicken's head. What are these for? Why do they have them? Let's take a look at some of the different breeds of chickens and how different their combs and wattles are. Look at this. I love this one. This is a silky, and look at his comb. It looks almost like a mohawk, like wild hair sticking up, doesn't it? But look how different they all are. What are they there for? Turn and talk to your friend about, why do you think they have this? Is it just for decoration, or does it serve a purpose? Look how different. Some of them are short, some are really long, some are dangly and floppy, some are pointed, aren't they? That one looks like a dinosaur with a crest on the top. Look how different. Now, just like with other birds, usually the male bird grows a little bit brighter. Like if you've ever compared a female and a male robin bird, redbird, brown thrasher like we have in Georgia, then what you're going to see is that the male birds tend to be a little bit more brighter in color. They're a little more attractive, and the females are a little bit more dull in color. The males' combs tend to be a little bit longer. The wattles tend to be a little bit floppier, and they stand out a little bit more. Why do you think that the boys would stand out a little bit more than the girls? Something to think about today, isn't it? Let's go back to why they have these things. Do you know how a dog controls his temperature? Have you ever seen a dog before going around panting? Right? They do that to control their temperature. This is the same reason why a chicken has a wattle and a comb is to control their temperature. Their body temperature is already much hotter than ours. Our temperature is about 98.5. Theirs is much hotter. They can sustain a lot hotter temperatures and a lot colder temperatures than we can. But this is a way that they sweat. This is a way that they control their body temperature. Through their comb and through their wattle, some of that temperature comes out and they're able to regulate their body's temperature. Isn't that neat to learn something new every day? Today is day 17 and we have 4 days left. How exciting!